Entertainment, Tax Studios, producer Jim Langley, director Timur Bekbandikov, writer Seth Graham Smith, actors Benjamin Walker, Anthony Mackie, and Erin Wasson, and the rest of the tour members for taking time out for us to enjoy Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Time for us now to have a 15-minute Q&A with producer Jim, director Timur, writer Seth, and the actors Benjamin, Anthony, and Erin. And to facilitate our Q&A portion, we'd like to welcome MWR Community Activities Director, Donald Wells.
Oh, now you all can hear me great. So let's give him a round of applause again. How awesome was that movie? Alright, I'm going to pass it over.
I want to introduce some of the most incredible people on the planet. First and foremost, my producing partner and the director of this movie about Abraham Lincoln, Timur Bekbandikov. All the way from Russia. He did an incredible job directing it. I next want to introduce Seth, the man who wrote the novel and wrote the screenplay, and is one of the executive producers, Seth Graham Smith. I want to introduce Abraham Lincoln's friend. Will I want to introduce the worst vampire going, Erin Wasson. And of course, none of this would have been possible when we started this journey without finding somebody who could inhabit the body of Abraham Lincoln. And that man is Benjamin Walker. I also really want to acknowledge two gentlemen who are up here, Greg Canham and Will Huff, who are just up here on the right waving to you guys. Those two guys, you can ask Ben when you talk to him, but he had to sit in makeup every day for 6 hours to become Abraham Lincoln. So, I certainly couldn't have done it. I just want to thank you again, and I want to turn it over to all these amazing people that ask your questions and talk, and please, just anybody, tell us what you think, what you feel. Seth's good.
What, so I'm the moderator now? Okay. Anyone have a question? You want to raise your hand, ask any of these fine people a question? Yes, sir, right in the middle.
Hey, where was it filmed?
It was filmed in Louisiana. Yeah. In and around New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah.
Where you at, boy?
All right. Somebody have a question? Hand? Anybody? Anybody? I don't know why I got this job all of a sudden. Yes, sir. What's that? How do you become a vampire? Let this lady bite you. Oh! Wait a second. Unbelievable. All right, any non-biting questions? Anybody? Anybody? Yes, sir.
Where'd you get the idea from?
Where did I get the idea from? That's, I wrote another book a few years ago called Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And I was touring around the States, going to different bookstores in different cities all over the US, and it was 2009, and it was the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. And in every single, I kid you not, in every single bookstore in the United States that year, there were only 2 displays in the front of every store. I don't care if it was a mom and pop store or a big old Barnes & Noble. There was an Abraham Lincoln biography table, and there was a Twilight table. And every bookstore I'd go in to do like a reading or a signing or something, I'd see Lincoln Vampires, Vampires Lincoln. And it just started to sneak up on my subconscious, and here we are in Djibouti with you fine people, 3 years later. So, question. Yes, sir.
Who did you beat out for the part, Abe Lincoln?
Who did he beat out for the part?
Yeah, was there somebody else that was more... not insulting, but I'm just saying, was there somebody like George Clooney or whatever?
Look at him, George Clooney? Look!
Just saying.
I mean, come on!
Just saying. I'd like to know, was there somebody else that was... that the director might have had in mind, like, this would be good, and then you came...
Well, here's what I love. First of all, I think Ben did an awesome job in the movie.
Absolutely.
Second of all, I can say this because I'm the guy who made this all up. This is a ridiculous premise. Alright? And we know it's ridiculous. So when you have a crazy, ridiculous premise, you need people to believe in that premise. And you know, if we had gotten like some big movie star, like if we had gotten Tom Cruise and put him in 1 foot, like boots and, you know, the big old top hat, like you never would have bought that this guy was real and that he was Lincoln. This guy, you believed he's real, he's Lincoln, so.
Yeah! Timor, when he started to direct this, he came in, and we talked to many, because many actors wanted to play this role. Not George Clooney, but similar caliber. And we had several of them, many of them, 7 or 8 come out. Greg Canham and Will Huff made these people up into the Gettysburg Address, Abraham Lincoln, and then they came and delivered it on camera. And so all the other guys were great, very professional, it was very good. But then when Ben came out, it was an unbelievable moment because we were standing there on a stage in Burbank, and he stood there and he delivered the Gettysburg Address. And you believed he was delivering it extemporaneously, and you believed that he was Abraham Lincoln. And Timor just looked and said, "That's who it is." I mean, he is. And then he, of course, I don't have enough things amazing to say about him because he nailed it. I also really want you guys to hear from Timor because, I mean, his vision. You know, he directed Wanted that we made. I don't know if you've ever seen that. And our other producing partner on this movie is Tim Burton. But when we were developing the story, Timor just fell in love with it because, and I think it'd be important for you to hear from him why.
First of all, thank you very much for your very warm reaction. I came from Russia, and I made a movie about the most greatest man in this country, I mean, the United States. And I'm proud that I did it, and I hope I understood him, and I hope you will like him. And the question was?
I just wanted Timor to express to you why he felt the desire inside of himself to tell the story of freedom.
Yep, I grew up in the country in Soviet Union, and there was no freedom. That's why the freedom is the most important thing for me, and this is a movie about it. Thank you very much for what you're doing here. I hope people will like the movie.
Question, yes, sir. When you got the script with the title on it, what did you think?
I thought, man, they're going to give this to George Clooney. No, I thought, I've always loved Timor's work, and it could have said anything, I'd have been interested. I wanted to work with Timor and Tim, and I wanted to learn about Abraham Lincoln and cut some vampires' heads off. What's not to like? He's a great American hero. Why not see him as an action hero? It's a win-win.
Yes, sir.
Did you actually learn how to spin the axe around like that?
Hell yeah! I had like 2 months to learn how to do that.
If you have an axe here right now.
Don't you start! I will say, 9 times out of 10, I hit that stunt guy right in the head with that sucker. It was rubber, so it was all right.
When we got the cassette that written a treatment for this idea that he had, and Timor and Tim Burton and myself Tim lives in London, Timur was in Russia, and I don't know where I was, and we woke up one morning and everybody had an email from our agent with this proposal for Seth's book, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. So to your question, I read it and I was like, first, what? Huh? I couldn't wrap my head around it. I came back and I read it and it was a 10-page idea for this book that he would write. So when everybody woke up, Tim was up and Timur, because we had done another movie together, we all got on the phone by noon that same day and we all said, this is exactly what we should do. And we'd spent a year looking for something, the three of us. And then we met Seth, and it was a great meeting. We met him on the day Michael Jackson died. Which, you know, that's just something that sticks in my mind. and then when we started to do it, and we really fell in love with Seth and the story and the idea, and he was writing the novel. Our first question was about the museum in Springfield and what they would think about this, what the curators of Abraham Lincoln's life would believe about this. And Seth said, oh no, they're completely supportive and totally endorse the project and like it because the essence of it is very true to what Abraham Lincoln was. So I hung up with Seth and I literally called the guy who ran the museum in Springfield and I introduced myself. And I said, is it true that you endorse this project? And he was just effusive. Absolutely, we love it, it's great, Seth's a great person, etc. And then the whole project just from there was on a fast track. Seth wrote a script, and now we're here.
One thing I want to acknowledge real quick is that there are two characters that are very important in the movie that are not in the book, and they are Vadoma and Will Johnson. It's played by Anthony Mackie. You guys remember Anthony from The Hurt Locker?
Yeah! Yeah!
And
we have a rap battles at midnight outside.
Anyway, I thought they were just kick-ass in this movie. Before I forget, before we run out of time, I also just want to say, and I know I'm speaking for all of us because we have talked about this, you know, throughout the day, but this is obviously our first time in Djibouti and our first time on base here, and getting to meet a lot of you today and getting to see just, you know, what it is you do on a day-to-day basis and where it is you work and how hard you work to, you know, protect the not only the movie freedoms that Abraham Lincoln fought for, but our real freedoms. I just want to say that we love you guys and appreciate you and thank you for that. Yes, sir. What do I think of Djibouti? Well, honest Dave, what do you think of Djibouti?
The base is great.
They're saying one last question. So you get to wrap it up. Well, first of all, the book's not that slow. The action master and the visionary behind the film and the man who dreamed up those crazy sequences and moves that you guys all saw that were not in the book is Timur.
I would get phone calls and it would be, I have idea. There would be there would be horses running, and Lincoln would be running on top of the horses, and like, what are you talking about?
There is another question, yeah?
Well, will there be a sequel? Man, I hope so. I hope so. We'll see how it does. We'll see, you know, if it gets the same reaction it got here tonight, then I don't see how we don't do a sequel. Abe's got some more butts to kick, I think. So, anyway, so we're supposed to wrap it up and meet some of you guys now and hang out. So, so thank you so much. Thank you everybody for coming out. It's awesome.
Thank you so much for all your questions. It is now time for our meet and greet, which will commence in a few minutes. We'll start the sequel. Please form a single line for 2